Karthik, I don't see I have this option to record, to show my screen. Okay, just a minute. Okay, now I see. Okay, so like as discussed previously, we have this Eclipse where we are going to write our test. We are going to write the scripts. Okay, so to quickly start with the basics, first, what you have to do, you have to create your own new project. Okay, so when you have a PyDev perspective installed in your Eclipse environment, then make sure at the top right corner you have selected that perspective correctly. Okay, then we will once we click that, we have this PyDev package explorer which becomes available for us. Okay, as of now I have created Python basics as a new project, but just again I will try to explain you how did I create this. So if I do a right click here and say new project, okay, then I have the PyDev project. So in this way you have to select it, and the Python basics which you see right now is something similar I had given here. Okay, and uh, you have to select the grammar version, that is the Python version which you have installed. Okay, and then the interpreter. So in my case, it's again the Python default I can keep. I have other different versions of Python, so that's why I will select as of now basic Python. Fine. So let me cancel this because I have already created this for you. So to start with the basics, whenever we start with any programming language to learn, we have uh, we start always with the print hello world kind of thing, right? So today I will try to show you a simple script. Okay, so first I will try to show you the print statement how we write in Python. Okay, now this is a file, and I say the file name is, I would say, the basics .py. So by default it creates, sorry, new PyDev module. This we have to select, not the file. We have to select PyDev module because we are going to create our uh, .py file. That is the Python file. Now, by default, it asks for many templates. Like before you start programming in Eclipse in Python, it shows you many templates. As of now, if at all you have learned any basics in Java, if you know there is a main uh, method that we start with. Similarly, here in Python, you can understand there is also a main. Okay, so here you see that. Uh, if name equal to main, so this is something we have a particular module that we start with. Whatever we program here will be in if name equal to main method. Okay, so uh, so we want to print a statement, right? Now in that case there is a command called as print. Okay, so if I say hello world, with this, now I have written this statement. So whatever strings you want to print as part of the output, you have to mention it in double quotes. Okay, in Python. Now I want to run this program. How will I do that? I will say maybe I will do this way and run as python run. Okay, so this will print me here as hello world in the console. Okay, there are many other ways with which we can do. uh, even you can print the statements here, like in brackets you can mention it. Okay, so I can say prints in brackets. So if I try to rerun this same program, what it says. So similarly, there are many other ways. At the basic level, at least you should understand with the print space, double quotes, whatever you mention in the double quotes will be printed in the Python program. Okay, so this is the initial start that I tried to mention. Okay, now the next thing that we will try to understand is how to declare the variables. Okay, how uh, how in Python we store the values in those variables. So like if I try to say there is a new, in Java or in any other programming language, we have a mandate that we have to declare the type of the variable. Okay, so that, so however, in case of Python we don't have a mandate to initially tell the type of uh, the variable that we are going to use it going further. Suppose for example, in case of Java we declare like this, and then we move further. However, I don't have to tell uh, the program that what kind of variable it would be. At the runtime itself, it understands what kind of variable value it is. Suppose if I say this is a this is new variable. Okay, at runtime it understands that var1 is a new variable. Okay, which is of type string. Okay, if you say print me the type of var1. Okay, in Python, if at all you want to uh, check what kind of variable uh, it has been at the runtime, then you can check it by doing this way. Okay, so if I try to run this, what I'm expecting is it should print the type of the value. See, so the type is str. Okay, now if I say that there would be another variable where I will assign an integer to it. Okay, let's check this way. Team, if at all you have any doubts, you can always put your queries in the questions or the chat rooms which we have. Okay, so now I will say this is 1. Okay, this is var2. Okay, now I will try to rerun this script. See here, it now tries to show the int. So in this way, at the runtime, you can expect var1, uh, it is a string value. So in that case, this is just the type of variable that I wanted to show you, which Python understands at the runtime is something I tried to print you. Okay, so variables are one way. Also, you can print the variables in this way, saying what I have stored in those variables, I want to print them, right? Okay, so this is a new variable. This is the string that got printed. Instead me printing directly the hard coded strings, I have stored those values in a variable and I tried to print it. Okay, now there are many other ways that we can store the variables. As of now, at the basic level, we should understand how we can work with the different types of variables. Okay, now for example, uh, if now there is var1 and var2 as two different types of variables. Now we can also do some calculations, those like additions and subtractions, the simple computations also we can do with the variables. Like for example, if I say that uh, like I want to add a value in a add value in variable. So for example, I will take another example, say sum value equal to var2 plus 1. Okay, and I will say print sum value. So what can we expect here is simply the addition of the variable value to 1. So we are expecting 2 to be the output of some value. Okay, so I quickly will try to run this. So here you go. So this is the value that is being printed for us. Okay, so in this way, if I will show you one more type. If at all you try to add a string to a particular number, the Python will throw us with some error saying we can't do that action. So for example, var1 plus 1. Okay, say we can name this as some other variable, some temp. Okay, and if I say I want to print this, so what can we expect? We should expect an error because var1 is a string. Okay, and if we say plus 1, it will a string cannot be added as a value to a numerical value. Okay, so what it says, cannot concatenate str type and int objects. Okay, it's quite obvious that this is a string and we can't add. However, if at all you say that I want to add this one as a string itself to uh, this particular string. Okay, so now what I'm expecting is this is new variable and then I want to print along with that 1 as the value. How will I do that? I will simply put it in double quotes. Okay, so the operator plus will uh, act as a joiner between two strings when two strings are given as its left operand and right operand. Okay, I hope you are aware of the terms operand. Between any two, between any two digits, if there is an operator, then those two uh, variables are called as operands. So var1 is one operand and on the other side we have put in double quotes any value. So if you put anything 1 2 3, so let us see what does this will print. Okay, so after this variable string, it actually printed us this string. So you can give space so that it will make more sense when while reading the output. Okay, so far I think I haven't got any queries. Everyone is clear so far. I will wait for 2 minutes here and I will try to understand if there are any queries coming from any of our members here. So next, I don't see any queries as of now. Okay. Okay. So now we have tried to see basic print statements and how we store those variables in a how we can store the values in those variables is something we try to see in the basics here. Okay. Now next thing is about the conditional statements. Okay, what are conditional statements? That is if else loop, right? So we will try to create a new py file for it. Okay, so I will create a simple main class again here. Okay, so now we saw that we have declared a variable. How to declare those variables? Suppose this value I give it as 10. Now I want to print a statement saying that if the value of var1 is greater than 10 or less than 10, then I want to execute a particular set of loop. Okay, in Python, how do you write the if statements? Is if, okay, space, bracket, then colon, and make sure your indentations are correct. Okay, so when you are writing in a if loop, it should be correctly indented. Okay, so in Python, if loop, the condition which you want to evaluate, okay, is something you have to provide in the bracket. For now, var1 is a numerical integer is what I can see. Okay, so if I say var1, if var1 is greater than 10, then print saying that the value is greater than 10. Now I have provided this condition saying that if var1 is greater than 10, will it execute? No. Sorry, this will evaluate as false because 10 value is not greater than 10. Is at the runtime we will see, when we try to execute, it will say that 10 is not greater than 10, so this loop won't execute. Okay, now if I say if var1 is equal to 10, then I am expecting it to print as value is equal to 10. Okay, now let us try to see which of these statements will get printed. Okay, so let me try to run this. So as you see, it executed this statement, but it saw that there is a false condition that comes up here in the expression. So it doesn't go to this loop and it moves to the next statement, and it sees that the var1, if var1 is equal to 10. So please make a note, you don't have to give single equal to sign here in the if loop when you have to check the equality of two values. Okay, again I repeat, if you have to check the equality, if the two values are equal, then you have to give two times the equal sign in the if statement. Okay, so if var1 is equal to 10, then you print me this value, this particular statement. Okay, so if, so there are many other ways to check the expressions. Okay, like if var is equal to, if var is less than 10, and many other joint operators I will show you going further. Okay, now next is, it is about only evaluating the if statement. Now I want to include the else statement also as part of my evaluation criteria. So suppose say this is executed. Okay, I don't want the so many if, only if statements to be part of my program, right? So what can I do for this? So I will copy and paste this here. Consider this is again a different loop. Okay, if var is greater than 10, no, then else is a statement. Okay, and then give colon. Okay, don't, please don't forget this colon. Okay, and then I will say print, because either the value can be greater than 10 or it can be less than or equal to 10, right? So print value is less than or equal to 10. Now you see that if I will, as of now I will comment this code. Okay, if you see now, var1 variable is having 10 as the value. Okay, and in this if statement it will evaluate this expression saying this condition is false. Okay, so it will immediately go into the else loop. Fine, in this else loop it will simply go and execute whatever things you have mentioned in the else loop. So we are expecting this particular line to be executed. So let us see, right? So what it says is the value 10 value is less than or equal to 10. Okay, so in this way the else loops are executed along with the if statements. Okay, now another way we can do the nested if else loop is, suppose this, I want to be specific about evaluating the expression saying if var is greater than 10, and also we want to check another thing that if it is less than 10, okay, then print value is less than 10, else print it is equal to 10. Okay, now that is how we can do the nested if else loops. Okay, so this is how we can say, what I'm trying to show is, this is if else loop. Okay, now I will try to show you nested if else loop. Okay, so this was our previous if else loop. Okay, now I want to add one more condition saying if var1 is less than 10. How will I do that? Here instead of else there is a way in which we can put one more way. So if elif means it is saying else if, again we put the condition in the bracket saying var1 is less than 10. So if var1 is really having value that is not greater than 10, it will simply move to another else if statement. Now we see that as var1 is having a value 10, it will again not execute this expression, but still we want to see if this gets executed or not, right? So we will change the print statement saying to is less than 10. Okay, so we at the end I will say else. Make sure, please make sure that if you write if, then you give the else at the last statement, because some expression has to be evaluated at the end is you have to take care. So print what we have, the option that is left with value is equal to 10. Okay, so if var1 is greater than 10, no, because var1 is actually having the value 10. Then it goes into this if statement verifying if var1 is less than 10, no. Okay, so let us try to execute this. Okay, so what did it print? Value is equal to 10. So this previous line was of this statement. Okay, maybe I will comment this for you here. Okay, so this is a nested if loop. Again I will try to run this. Okay, so now when you were executing these statements, you say that okay, is there any way that I can debug the program? Okay, in Python or in any programming language, it when you are writing your scripts or a particular program, you want to see if a particular program is running according to your according to the uh, values or according to the loops that you are mentioning in the program. So I will try to show you today how to debug the program. Okay, so simply we are saying that var1 it will evaluate this expression, it will evaluate this expression, but I want to see at the runtime or at the runtime what actually the Python does, right? So how to debug a program in Eclipse, we can uh, see by putting the breakpoints. So you have to understand while from top, if you have to execute the Python program, where should I break my run runtime execution, so that from there actually I can uh, go step by step and try to see how my program will execute. So very critical when you have uh, in mind that you have to debug the program, then you have to have a breakpoint at some point, right? So suppose for example I want to put the breakpoint here itself. From here I want to debug the program. Okay, so I will do a double click here. See, if you see pydev breakpoints, the green sign in Eclipse here, this will show you the breakpoint. Okay, now how can I debug the program? The same way, if you see, there was an option which we were using since uh, couple of minutes here. We have been using run as. Instead of run as, we will use option as debug as. Okay, let's see, debug as Python run. Okay, so now what it says is I want to switch to that perspective. So yes, you will say that. So when you want to debug, the perspective changes of the Eclipse. See here. Now, the program see here, when we started the program, it highlighted the statement where we had put the breakpoint, right? So this is the breakpoint at which your program will stop the execution. It hasn't complete the execution. Okay, so now I want to see uh, what all things will happen as and how I move further in my execution. Okay, so uh, there is a window called as variables. Okay, as of now, don't get confused by seeing on all the different windows. Okay, this is just, if you notice here at the top right corner in my Eclipse, I have moved from PyDev perspective to the debug perspective. Okay, if I go back to debug PyDev perspective, I come back to my normal view. Okay, so while debugging, you want to see what all values are flowing between the variables that are used in your program. So you have to switch to the debug mode. Okay, so now I can see that, just a minute, let me expand this window for you. Okay, as of now there is no variable var1 I can see, because I have put the breakpoint here and I haven't still executed this line. So how will I execute this line and move to the next line in the program? So if you see at the top right corner here, if you are working on Windows, you have a F6 button. You can simply press that button. Okay, you can simply press that button. Else, if you are working on any other OS like Mac OS or something, then you can simply click this button, step over. Okay, if you see here, the the tooltip for this option, there is a F6 option, right? So even you can click that. Now if I press this, see here in the yellow color, the variable name gets highlighted, which got just executed, right? At the runtime, I got to know that, okay, var1 got the value as 10. Also it shows you what type of value it has got. Okay, and from there itself it gets the type of the variable. You know, in previous script we tried to print um, the type of the variable, right? So this is how it fetches the type of the variable. Okay, please don't get confused about this whole thing, that the value is int colon 10. How come int colon 10 came instead of 10? In Python debug mode, it shows the type of integer, type of the variables. Now where did the debugger move? It moved to this statement. Now we have var1 is greater than 10, right? Let's see what it does here. We see that if I press F6, see, it actually skipped that, verifying that there is a value that is not greater than 10. Okay, that's why it moved to another if else statement. Now again I will move, let's see what it does. Okay, it saw that even this statement didn't work, because we have var1 that is having 10 as the value. Okay, so at the end we have not put any condition, because for any number either it can be greater than a particular value, or it can be less than particular value, or at the end the only option it can be is it might be equal to that value, right? And now when we see that, we click step over again, it executed this line for us and it terminated the execution. That means it finished the execution of this program, right? So in this way I try to walk you through the program in a debugging mode, so that at the runtime what all values, how they are executed with the different statements is what I try to show you. Okay, so let me move back to the PyDev perspective. If you see again, I will click the PyDev perspective here. So I come to my normal view again. So this is all about conditional operations. Okay, so if it, I will wait for one minute. If there is any doubt for anyone, please ask me so far. Team, you are muted, uh, so you can type in your queries here, so that by end of this session I can go through your query and try to answer. Okay, so now we saw that these are the conditional operations how we do in the Python. Now next is different looping operations like for loop and while loop is something we will try to understand in couple of minutes. Okay, so let me try to create a new file. So again I will select a PyDev module where I will say loop operations. Okay, I don't have to give .py file here because I anyways have selected a PyDev Python module, so it will create a simple py file for me. So again I will select a main class here. Okay, now as we saw, okay, now what we have to do is we have to understand for loop first. Okay, we have to uh, iterate across set of values and we have to evaluate particular expression in those for loop. For example, now first instance, if someone says that print me uh, first 10 values, okay, that is, it is saying print me 1 comma 2 comma 3 up to 10, right? Now without doing loop, what you will do, you will say print 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, right? Okay, now if I try to run this, it will print me 1 to 10 as the values. Okay, now is this the feasible way? No, it is not at all a feasible way. Is there any utility in Python? Yes, in any programming language you have the looping concepts. In Python, how do you do that is something I can show you here. Okay, now if I have to print the first 10 values in for loop, there is a way. So you have to give for, okay, you have to give a variable name, okay, that is a iterator. For suppose I say it's a variable name I'm just giving. Okay, for iterator in range. Okay, so if you see there is a range, and if you see the help here, it says that you can give the start and stop values. So you have to give the particular range. I have to start from 1 and up to which value I have to execute. Up to 10 is something I have to print, but I have to give one incremental value up to which it should execute. That is, if I give 11 and here I have to end with colon. Please note, in the for loop you have to end with colon, and here inside this I will print which value, saying that the value is 10. So value print value is, I can say plus, and in the form of integer, say iterator 1. So if I try to execute this, let's see what it prints. It says that we cannot concatenate int with the this. So I will convert this to str. Right. So this is how it printed us the value. Okay. So now, how can we print all these values in a in a single statement, right? Is there any way in Python that we can perform these operations? So for loop. So there is a statement called for. Okay. Then you should specify a variable name that can point to each of the uh, looping values, right? So suppose there is a iterator. I would say simply it's a variable name in range. So here I'm specifying the range between which the for loop should run. So simply the first parameter will be from where I have to begin and up to where. I will say 11. Up to 11 means it will not execute the 11th loop. Okay, so this loop will execute for 10 times. So from 1 up to 11 value, I have to execute this statement. So what will I say? I will say simply print me this value. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, let me run this. Okay, so it printed me all these values. This is a print that is coming uh, from the for loop. Okay, if you want to see in a debug mode, then maybe I will help you to debug this, so you can actually understand what is for loop actually doing, right? So simply say debug as python run. Okay, it switches to our debug perspective. Okay, so now I will do F6. Okay, so it printed me this value because it was simple print that I had put up here. Now the for loop comes. Okay, so iter1 is a variable that will move at every point in our for loop here, and it will print that particular value. So for uh, first time I'm looping inside the for loop, and how many times I will loop inside the for loop is 10 times, because up to 11 means it is till 10 I have to execute the for loop. So iter in range this. Okay, it will take uh, the range values as as a value inside the variable iter1. Okay, let's see what it does. Okay, so now before printing iter1, I am in the first loop is what I can understand. That's why it printed me the value as iter 1. So let me do F6. See here, it printed iter 1 as the value. Okay. So similarly, if I move further, it will again print. So if you see, the value of iter 1 has changed to 2 and it printed the value 2. So till what, if I keep pressing F6, this for loop will keep executing till I reach the value as 10. See, see the point where we are highlighting in the debug mode is the statement that will be executing at that moment. See, I'm pressing F6 for debugging this particular line of statement. Once the loop has executed, it comes out and it exits the program. So this is how we do a for loop programs. Okay. Now there are many other ways with which we can work on in the for loop. Sorry. Okay. So for example, we will come to the lists and dictionaries in maybe next session tomorrow, and try to understand the different data structures and how to loop in those uh, data structures is also we can try to understand. Okay. So so we are stopping for today here, and now I'm open for questions. Okay. So okay, I see some queries that people were looking if the training is still going on. Sorry, there was a power cut at my place, and that's why I was disconnected for a minute. So so I am open for questions. I am waiting for your questions. Okay, let me unmute all of you so that so Ashish Tiwari, I've unmuted you, everyone. If anyone has to say something on the call, they can raise their hand. Or they can type in their questions. Uh, yes, Swatik, I see that you have raised your hand. Uh, may I know what's your question? Maybe you can type in so that I can read it out, and like I the same I will try to address in front of everyone. I'm good. Okay. So I am still open for few more minutes for the questions. If at all you have any query, uh, please type in here so that I can address your queries. Else we will see then tomorrow's session. anyways, I am recording these sessions, so you can refer the recorded session again, and you can check with our IT Learn team where we will be uploading our recordings that of every day session that we do. I hope I am clear and loud enough in the calls, right? So I believe everyone is able to follow, is what I can understand, as I don't see much queries coming.
Pawan, this is Ashish. I just have one question here. So, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes, I am able to hear you.
Okay. So, where we have written like if the name and then main, so it's the only way to start it, or like we can rewrite in another format also. The
So
first line, or is
no, this is just at the initial start. To write the program is something I tried to show you. See, there are many other ways, right? So you can, there are many other ways that you can execute the program with. Okay, now this is if you see, I've shared this statement. Okay, are you able to see?
so even without that also we should be able to run that, right?
Yeah, just in a standard way to execute a program, or you if you want to see how things can be done. I wanted to start with directly the if main class, sorry, if name loops directly. If you see, I tried to execute this statement without if main.
Okay. Got it.
So was that the only query that I am seeing from everyone? Okay, so I'm closing this session today. Uh, Now, tomorrow we will see lists, dictionaries, okay, as a different Python data structures and how to work with them. Okay, so thank you team for attending today's session, and see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.
Thank you.